there are inherent problems with the model that these assessments are deployed with. So SurePeople has been thinking about ways to democratize access. If your product is not a true need to have, it's very difficult to gain go-to-market traction. To psychometric self-learning across entire organizations, not just leadership or high potential employees. We're basically creating a personalized AI coach for everyone, regardless of their position on the org chart, regardless of their personality type, regardless of their ability to spend money, that is going to take someone through a set of assessment questions, only 5 minutes long to complete the entire assessment. We can take feedback from a customer and have it live in a product in 2 weeks. Anyone that wants to take our brief psychometric and get access to their own personalized AI coach, go to SureCoach.ai.
I'm Christy Honeycutt. I'm your host for Inside the C-Suite, where execs get real about leadership, impact, and what truly drives high-stake decisions. I'm really excited to have on the show today Russ Mikowski from SurePeople, who is my new BFF.
Nice to meet you officially and to make our relationship known to the public here today.
God help us, it's all in Vegas. So Russ, I came across your booth yesterday, and something about it caught my eye. It was really the pretty black and purple colors you had. I'm a girl, I'm gonna say it. But no, it's I love leadership. This show is about leadership.
Yep.
And that stood out to me in your booth. So I'd love for you just to share with the audience a brief clip of kind of like what that is, what SurePeople is and what you guys do and the why behind it.
Yeah, so SurePeople in general is a psychometric assessments company. You think about the traditional psychometrics that are out there. I'm sure many of the listeners have taken DISC, Myers-Briggs, Hogan. They're great. They help you learn more about yourself and those you work closely with, but there are inherent problems with the model that these assessments are deployed with. First of all, they're typically reserved for those at the top of the org chart, right? Usually facilitated in coach-led sessions, and they don't have a lot of long-term ROI because once that process of taking the assessment, usually at an exec offsite, for instance, is complete, the results are metaphorically, sometimes literally stuffed in a desk drawer or in a manila folder, right? So SurePeople has been thinking about ways to democratize access to psychometric self-learning across entire organizations, not just leadership or high potential employees. And we've utilized technology to make the results, the findings, the understandings of people's differences, strengths, weaknesses available in the flow of work via integrations with tools like Slack. So I'm about to go into an important meeting with you. I don't know you that well. You sit in a different location or on a different prong of the org chart. It would be great to learn about Christy first, and
So
I might
we should have
save
done this
myself some
before we
mistakes.
saw it.
Exactly.
Well, that's really interesting. So how did this technology come about? Like, and what's the why behind it for you?
So I came on as the CEO of SurePeople about 18 months ago.
Okay.
My background is in go-to-market leadership and HR tech. I'd been head of sales at iSims, Smashfly, the ladders way back before that.
Just small companies.
Small companies,
You're not a big
as
deal
small
at all.
as SurePeople tech. I've never worked for a company with more than like 2,000 people, so I guess I'm like a small company guy. But yeah, I was excited about the opportunity to take the baton from the product/technically oriented founder of SurePeople and work on growing our go-to-market scale, essentially, and learned a lot of things in the process, some of which have been humbling, to be honest. This is my first time as a CEO of a company at some level of scale, and I think one of the biggest learnings that I've come across is when the economy is in the state that it's presently in, if your product is not a true need to have, it's very difficult to gain go-to-market traction. So we've been kind of teetering right on the border because for certain ICP and certain types of buyers, the fandom of our product is contagious and incredibly energetic. And then there are this whole group of companies and personality types who don't really completely see the direct line between improved communication, collaboration, and bottom line, right?
Because they probably don't have good communication themselves.
It could be the case. I mean, some people are not necessarily open to assessing themselves and improving.
Well, there's some shadows there if you assess yourself. No, I am very, very hungry for growth and development, learning and development, and really working on people leaders. I think I shared with you, I have a book on leadership coming out in February. I'm super
Can't
excited.
Wait to read it, actually.
It's
Do I get a free copy?
Yeah, I mean, it's my first one. It's your first time being a CEO. But for me, it all comes down to energy. It all comes down to communication and like taking a deep dive into yourself, because you can't accomplish the things that you have in your career if you probably haven't reflected, and vice versa. So I love that this tech that you have is great. I can see it. And my question to you is like, how do coaches use it? Because I'm a person that's had a personal coach. I've had a business coach. I've had a therapist, right? Like I really invest in myself. So how does it play with different parts of the business?
Yeah, so likewise, I've had all of those personal resources as well, and continue to. And when we think about the particular product that we're here promoting at HR Tech, the word coach is a part of the product. It's called SureCoach.ai. Mm-hmm. Anyone who wants to check it out, it's actually free.
SureCoach.ai free.
SureCoach.ai. And we're basically creating a personalized AI coach for everyone, regardless of their position on the org chart, regardless of their personality type, regardless of their ability to spend money, that is going to take someone through a set of assessment questions, only 5 minutes long to complete the entire assessment, and then it's going to personalize in line with how you like to communicate, what your strengths and weaknesses are, an AI coach that will be able to offer you customized feedback to any kind of development or work-related questions. So very different than going to ChatGPT and getting the same generic responses that everyone else gets when they ask, hey, how do I smooth things over with Christy? We just butted heads in a meeting, right? This tool would actually understand me, and it would know that, hey, I'm very outgoing, but I might have these blind spots, and it would give me different advice than it might give you. So whereas executives can typically afford a human coach, reality says that not everyone is going to be able to afford that. So if we think about the concept of democratizing that self-learning and development, that's one of the reasons we're so excited about what we're doing here at SureCoach.
So who would it be a good fit for? Because in my brain, and I don't work for you, but in my brain, I'm just like, this is applicable to almost every industry.
Yeah, I mean, most of our current customers are in healthcare technology or healthcare services. So big hospital systems, for instance, like Johns Hopkins University Medical Center, Boston Children's Hospital. We have a lot of professional sports organizations where coaching and development is
I love it.
Obviously a part of their day-to-day. But we're leaning even more into, with our new SureCoach product, retail, frontline, deskless workers, folks who are pretty underserved from a learning and development perspective. And if you think about the issues of churn and identifying the next leaders in those kinds of organizations, I think there's a lot of opportunity for us to make an impact on improving not only the relationships between employees and their managers and their reports, but also helping to fast track the development of individuals who may not have been given that opportunity.
I love that. And you're right, there are certain populations that don't get it. Like I remember just if we talk about leadership, first time as a manager, no one ever told me how to be a manager. They just said, oh, you now own this group, go, right?
Yeah.
So I bumped my head. I learned a lot. I was a really awful manager at times, right? Heart was always in the right place, but it took me learning and growing in myself, having bad leadership and managers going, I don't want to emulate that. I do want to emulate that. And just kind of leaning in. So I love that this tech is for everybody, and it kind of can give them a leg up. And when you said sports teams, that makes so much sense, because it's so much more than just your physicality. It's the mentality. It's your mental.
Absolutely.
Your mental game is all about your energy and what's going on. So what got you? You're obviously wicked smart. Your background's great. You've got a go-to-market brain. Is there anything else in your toolbox that we don't know?
I mean, I'm personally very interested in developing people. That's the part of my job that I've always liked most. Sales just happened to be something that I was good at. So long story, but in a previous life I was a DJ and producer, and
it's all coming together for me now.
kind of building the musical journey over the course of the night. And I do see a little bit of a kind of comparable there in terms of helping people build their careers. And if I'm ever interviewing for a job, getting asked the question of what are you most proud of, what is your biggest accomplishment, it's probably like the number of people who've worked for me who are now heads of sales, some of whom started as SDRs.
Same. So I've been in the talent industry forever, and I took people and did programs like transitioning veterans. I'm like, we're hiring DOD. No one knows how to do this. No one knows how to translate MOS codes. I'm a Marine daughter, so I get it. But I went out and created a program for veterans and taught them how to be recruiters, and then fed our DOD clients with them. And it's just, and now when I look at these baby recruiters that I birthed so many years ago, they're leading big organizations, and they're just big bosses, and it's heartwarming.
It's so satisfying, honestly. And then, you start to get old like me, and you see that some of the people that you helped on the way up have now created this whole class of people that they've helped on the way up.
And it's crazy when you start to see them maybe start to surpass you, because I know my mentors, my former managers, I've surpassed them, and they said it's so humbling to watch what you've done. And I thought, oh my gosh, I wouldn't have never ever been able to even take a step forward without you giving me a chance, without you coaching me and sharing what you knew with me. And even the bad ones, thank you for being bad, because you taught me what wasn't okay and what I won't accept. Yeah. So right now, I know that you said you've got this in like a bunch of different clients. Is there, you're here at HR Tech, is this y'all's first year here?
So I've personally been to HR Tech many times in the past, although not since COVID, actually. It's interesting how the show has kind of changed since the last time I was here, but SurePeople has been represented at HR Tech in the past as well, but SureCoach.ai, again, which is our kind of like offshoot focus, is here for the first time.
Awesome. And how's it been received so far?
Great. I mean, the conversations have been really helpful. We had our CTO and head of product here as well, bringing people who are kind of potential buyers within our ICP aside for some conversations to help inform our future roadmap, because we're here kind of simultaneously looking for customers and funding and a little bit of direction as we try to fine tune and hone in on exactly what we're going to bring to market. The B2C offering that I described previously, that short Psychometric, which gives you the customized AI coach, is available today for free to everyone, but we're really honing in on what that B2B offering is going to look like, and it's going to be focused a lot more on retail and frontline workers than the existing SurePeople offerings.
I think it's going to be really interesting, because if you take a look at frontline just out of the gate, the attrition rate is so high. It's I know I talked to several clients, and it was up to 120% in times, and then you had managers that were also attriting because they didn't have people that could do the work, and so now they're doing the work, and they're managing, and they're interviewing, they're doing all the things. So I think this is going to be, I know it will be very impactful for that population, obviously, and it'll be great to see who's interested in partnering with you, because I could see a lot of tech here that could gobble that up and make it part of their toolkit and just really drive home. Because you make me think of retention, because you put all this work into hiring these people, and the front line is great, that area, retail for sure, but you put all this effort into attracting them and bringing them in, right? And now you got to keep them. And I think the keeping them part in the world we live in today, the multi-generational workforce, the different forms of communication. I mean, I was talking to a guest earlier today and said, do you remember I'm old. Did you remember the dial-up phones?
I do remember the dial-up phones, yeah.
Okay, so do you remember the TV, MTV? You used to have the cord you had to pull out with a cable box. It was bottom down, first button.
Yes, I do.
Video killed the radio star.
Absolutely. That's so funny.
So you are a former DJ, so I'm sure you're going to get that. But our communication has changed. I remember when getting a text message was very private, and now you get text messages from people you don't know, and fraud is like crazy, and no one knows who to trust, and you get text messages that say, hey, can you text?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you just texted me, right? So communication's changing, but I think we all want to be communicated to differently. So this technology, I can't wait to take the free test. I would have, except I didn't get it until very late last night. We are in Vegas.
Yes. Vegas will make those kinds of things happen, right? But I think it's just important to touch on briefly as well, talk about how communication is evolving. Outbound outreach from a GTM perspective is also evolving. And AI brings with it good and bad, obviously. And from my perspective, a part of the bad is just the mass volume of outreach that is persisting into every decision maker's inbox today, right? Some of that comes in the form of text, some of it in the form of in-mails or emails. So I think there's more and more relevancy when it comes to partnerships and channels for distributing new products than there's ever been. I've noticed a greater concentration of people in partnership-oriented roles at the show this year than I ever have, actually.
So I have as well, and I think you're definitely on it. So I've been here formerly with another organization, and our partners and clients who picked up here. But the partnerships are more long-term, and you know, it's like a gremlin, right? or wait, what did they used to call them? What am I thinking of? You know, they throw Gizmo, they put water on Gizmo, and you got gremlins, right? So it's kind of, it's there, we need it. We need a different, the partnerships just, well, they expand 10 times faster.
Yep.
And hopefully you're choosing a partner that's awesome and really representing your brand. How would you go about choosing a partner? What would you recommend in your seat?
Yeah, so we're partnered with Pavilion, which is a really tremendous relationship for us, also focused on development, particularly of executives in the GTM space, right? And it allows us as their exclusive assessments provider to get on the radar of decision makers who can then bring our product into their own companies. Pavilion is also incredibly active on LinkedIn and their own private Slack community, right? So it's a great way to create word of mouth referral and such. But when it comes to selecting great partners, I think a shared sense of purpose between the two companies, even from a mission, vision, values perspective, is very important too, right? Because there are purely financial partnerships, and then there are partnerships that are a little bit wider than that. The financial ones tend to last as long as the non-financial relationship does, in my opinion, and people turn over as well, right? So I think it's important that the companies fundamentally are aligned when partnerships are being chosen. Right?
So what is one thing that you and your organization do that's better than anybody else? And it is okay in this moment to brag.
One thing we do that's better than anybody else, I mean, we ship product really fast, really, really fast. We have a tremendous CTO and engineering organization. You know, we can take feedback from a customer and have it live in a product in 2 weeks.
Wow.
So one of the benefits of being small and agile, right?
Yeah, that's great.
How about the things we don't do well?
Well, I mean, I know that you're going to tell me that you're into coaching and leadership, so I know you would tell me all the times you failed. I'm not even surprised. Is there a big failure that stands out to you that like really shifted your career?
It was probably last night when I shouldn't have split 8s against a 6. But no, other than that, a big failure that stands out in my career. You know, I feel ashamed maybe to admit it, but it's been repeated a couple of times. Hopefully I'll learn my lesson now. I don't think this is a unique failure either for folks in go-to-market, but not nailing ICP can have tremendous shorter and long-term ramifications to an organization, right? There are only so many financial bullets, especially at venture-funded startups, right? So I think what I have learned throughout the course of my career is to try to test and validate before really going all in. And you know, I'm experienced enough and hopefully smart enough to know that I should be doing that, but it's not always as easy in practice when you're operating under the pressure of, you know, reality and needing to show growth and scale at an early
speed
stage.
now, yesterday, all the great things. Well, I am so grateful that I got to meet you and that you taught me how to play poker. Blackjack? Apparently I don't know the difference between poker and blackjack, but it was a lot of fun. Thank you for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. How can people get in touch with you and your product, and if they want to talk to you about partnerships?
Sure. So I'm just at Russell with 2 S's and 2 L's at SurePeople.com. Anyone that wants to take our brief Psychometric and get access to their own personalized AI coach can go to SureCoach.ai. Connect with us on LinkedIn. We're happy to partner, talk, take feedback, and anything else.
Perfect. And guys, go follow them and like and follow Inside the C-Suite, and of course, Work Defined. See you next time. Bye.